Good morning.
Sir, that first module, which you uploaded only so much, no, sir? First module.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So today I'll be completing the first module and I'll move to the second module. Okay. So in the last class we have
Okay, sir.
studied about the different biasing techniques of the MOSFET. So the most efficient biasing technique is using constant current source. Why it is more efficient? Because it is providing a constant current flow through the device irrespective of any external changes like temperature or the device replacement, whatever it may be. Understood? So by using a fixed current source, we can ensure a constant current flow through the device. That is, a drain current is made to be constant at all cases. Okay. So that is improving the efficiency of the biasing technique. Your Q point is going to be stable in the saturation region itself. It is not going to drift towards the triode region. So that is what is the advantage of using constant current source as the biasing technique. Now you can go through this particular problem, read this problem carefully and understand the things, what are the given parameters and all, and what you have to find. So based upon, we'll solve this problem. It is very important for you. Okay, so try to read the problem and understand the things or the given parameters and what you need to find out. So here it is said that using two transistors Q1 and Q2, it is having equal length, but related by W2 by W1 is equal to 5. Means their width ratio is going to be different, but the channel length is assumed to be same. Okay. So you can't say that the two devices are identical, but as far as the channel length is concerned, it is going to be same, but the width ratio, it is different. That is, you have the second channel width is 5 times as that of the first one. Okay. Now you are supposed to design the circuit of figure to obtain I equal to 0.5 milliamps. So figure is being given. The only thing is you need to design. What do you need to design? That is, you are going to find the unknown parameter. So Pavan, you observe the circuit diagram and find out the unknown parameter that you need to design. Observe the circuit diagram carefully and find out the unknown parameter that you need to find out.
One sec, sir. I'm noting down.
What? I didn't get you, Pavan.
No, sir. I'm noting down.
Okay. You see the circuit diagram, and based on the circuit diagram, which is the unknown parameter that you are going to find out. Because in the question, it is asked to design the circuit diagram which is given. Okay. So design means you are going to find the unknown parameters based upon the given specification. Okay. So which is the unknown parameter here? You have only two MOSFETs, Q1 and Q2, and a resistance. So here R is the unknown resistance which you need to find out based upon the given specifications. So what are the given specifications? I is equal to 0.5 milliampere. That is, this is the maximum current that is allowed to flow through the device. And you have the supply voltage VDD and DSS, that is 5 volt. And you have the K-W by L 0.8 milliampere per volt square. The threshold voltage is 1 volt. Okay. So since this is an NMOSFET, it is given K-W by L. What is W by L? What is W by L? W by L is known as aspect ratio. Channel width to length ratio is otherwise known as aspect ratio. In the last class, we have gone through that. Okay. So today I already shared the notes in the Google Classroom. You need to revise the entire first module today. Okay. Because next week you are going to have your CIE 1. Okay, so before that you need to complete first module and a portion of second module as well. So Kn dash W by L is given 0.8 milliampere per volt square. Threshold voltage is given. What is the threshold voltage? Try to refresh the concept of threshold voltage. It is a minimum voltage which is required at the gate terminal so as to induce the channel. Okay, initially you don't have any channel, but later the channel is getting induced only after the application of a minimum voltage at the gate terminal. So gate is a control input. Okay, the gate voltage is the control input that is inducing the channel. Only after inducing the channel only you will get the current flow. Okay, provided you have applied a sufficient drain to source voltage. And it is explicitly given in the question, that is you need to find the required value of R based upon the given conditions. And apart from that, you are going to find the voltage at the gates of Q1 and Q2. And what is the lowest voltage allowed at the drain of Q2 while Q2 remains in the saturation. So it is given that Q2 we need to maintain in saturation region. Okay. And what is the condition of saturation region? VDS is greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. Okay. So once you apply a drain to source voltage which is sufficiently greater than VGS minus VT, then you can ensure that your device is in saturation. Otherwise, if VDS is less than VGS minus VT, your device will go into triode region, which is not acceptable for linear amplification. Understood? Here, the condition is Q2 is going to be in the saturation. It remains in the saturation region. So while satisfying that particular condition, you have to find the lowest voltage that is allowed at the drain of Q2. What is the voltage at Q2? I mean, drain of Q2, it's nothing but VD2. See the figure? Q2 is a second MOSFET. At the drain of Q2, you are having VD2. So this lowest allowable voltage VD2 we need to find. What is the lowest allowable voltage? Means the minimum voltage. Minimum voltage that can maintain saturation condition of Q. Okay, that you need to find out. So you have to find the minimum drain voltage of Q2, that is nothing but VD2, which is always ideally it should be greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. But at least minimum voltage you need to maintain. That minimum is nothing but VGS minus. Okay. So got the objective of the question. You need to find R. You need to find the voltage at the gate of Q1, Q2 means VGS. What is the voltage at the gate of Q1, Q2? It is VGS. Apart from that, you need to find the minimum drain voltage at Q2 that will drive the transistor in saturation. So all these three parameters you have to find out. Okay. So going to the solution. Any doubt with respect to this question and the circuit diagram? Objective of the question is clear. Given specifications is also clear. Circuit diagram is also clear. And what biasing technique is here, this given in the circuit? The biasing technique is constant current source. This is constant. I mean current mirror it is. Okay, this is current mirror circuit. And by providing a constant current source, we will be able to fix the Q point in the saturation region itself. There will not be any shift in the Q point. Okay. So as you can see, so these are the given specifications, whatever I have written here. It is the threshold voltage, and you need to find out three different parameters. One is R, second one is VG, and third one is VD2. Okay, so these are the three parameters you need to find. VG is nothing but gate voltage of Q1. It is going to be same as that of gate voltage of Q2. Why? Can anybody say why gate of Q1 is equal to voltage at the gate of Q2? Can anybody say why the gate voltage of Q1 is same as that of gate voltage of Q2?
Due to current mirror circuit, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. It is current mirror circuit, and apart from that, you can see the two gate terminals have shorted together, and the source terminals are also shorted together. So whenever you have two networks parallel or two terminals parallelly connected across each other, it is obvious that the voltage across the two terminals is going to be same. Okay, so that is why I have written VG. I didn't specify VG1 or VG2. Rather than I put only VG, which means the gate of Q1 is at a particular potential or voltage that is same as that of gate voltage of Q2. Any doubts? Now, I'm going to find the value of R. You can see the position of R in the circuit diagram. So I just want you to tell where I have connected R, in between which voltages. Obviously, you have a potential difference across R, isn't it? So what is that potential difference? See the circuit diagram and tell me. See, at one end of R, you are having one potential. At the other end of the R, you are having another potential. Just observe the circuit diagram and tell me what are the potential difference. Pavan. Bhavani, any idea? See, you can see the
VDD.
yeah, you can see the physical connection of R at one end. What at this particular end, what potential I have? At this end,
VDD.
VDD, fine. At this end, what you have?
VD.
VD. So what is the difference? What is the difference? VDD and VT. So the difference is see, you have VDD and you have VD. So what is the difference? Simply you can tell them. It is VDD minus
VDD minus VD.
VD. Yeah, that's all simple.
VD.
Yeah, divided by current, because according to Ohm's law, the resistance is potential difference divided by current. And what is the current through this resistance? What is the current through this
IRAF.
resistance? IRAF, fine. So VDD minus VD by IRAF. IRAF is nothing but the reference current, whatever you have, whatever you're going to set. Okay. So based upon this R only, you're going to, I mean, based upon the given current only, you're going to set R. Okay. Actually, the parameter R is going to control your current flow through the mirror circuit. Understood? And you know the concept of mirror. If it is a perfect mirror, or if the two transistors are going to be a perfect matched transistors, this I naught is going to be equal to IRAF. Means I is going to be equal to IRAF. IRAF is the reference current flowing through Q1, and I is the current that is flowing through Q2, which is also equal to ID2. Okay. So our intention is to make I is equal to IRAF for a perfect mirror circuit. Otherwise, if there is any sort of variations in the channel width or channel length, of course, there is going to be some sort of variations. Okay. So as far as this problem is concerned, you are going to fix this R based upon given IRAF. Clear? Now, how you are going to find IRAF? In the circuit, I mean, in the question, you don't have I reference, but you have I. Understood? You don't have I reference in your circuit, I mean, in the question, but I has been given. The parameter I is 0.5 milliampere. I is nothing but the current flowing through Q2. Don't confuse. I is the current flowing through Q2. I reference is the current flowing through Q1. At all cases, you can't say I is equal to IRAF. There will be some sort of difference between I and IRAF that based upon the variations in aspect ratio. What is the aspect ratio? Width to length ratio of the channel. Okay. So in the question, it is observed that even though length is same, but width is not same. You have a finite ratio W2 by W1. So as the width is different, you have to expect that I will not be equal to IRAF. Got the point? I will not be equal to IRAF. Why? Because there is some change in the channel width. So that you need to find out. Okay. So this is the basic equation that is connecting the output current and the reference current. Output current is nothing but the current that is flowing through Q2, and I reference is a current that is flowing through Q1. And this is your aspect ratio of Q2, and this is the aspect ratio of Q1. So this equation already we have derived from the previous biasing technique. Okay. Now divide these two ratio, W2 by L2. You can take this denominator along with this. So it will become L1 by W1. Understood? Any sort of confusions in this step? Clear? Now it is given that L1 is equal to L2. So you can cancel these two. L1 equal to L2 means this will get cancel each other. So the equation become I equal to I ref into W2 by W1. And I is given 0.5. W2 by W1 is also given as 5. So from that you can solve for I reference. So that will come around 0.1 milliampere. Why it is in milliampere? Because the question I is in milliamps. So obviously whatever you have got for I reference, that will be in milliamps only. Okay. So as of now, you have I reference and I with you. Now you can find R. Understood? So how we are going to find R? Just refresh the equation. Number 1, R is equal to VDD minus VD by I ref. And by observing the circuit, you can see that VD is equal to VG. VD and VG is going to be same. VD and VG, it is going to be same. How? Because they have been short circuited. The drain voltage and gate voltage have short circuited. So these two voltages are going to be same. So instead of putting VD, what I will do is I will be putting VG. Okay. VG means gate voltage. VD is the drain voltage. And as you can see in the current mirror circuit, the drain and gate terminal have short circuit. So this voltage is going to be same as that of this. Okay. So instead of putting VD, you will put VG. Now you will rewrite equation number 1 so that it will become 5 minus, instead of writing VD, putting VD, you will put VG. So 5 minus VG by 0.1. That will be equation number 2. Okay. Any doubt till this particular point? Any doubt? So first step is you have found I ref. Why you have found I ref? Because to find R, you need to find I ref because that is coming in the denominator. And how will you find I reference? By using the equation of current mirror circuit. Okay. Now to find R, you need to find VG. So how you are going to find VG? So you can apply KVL. To find VG, you can apply KVL. Okay. So how we are going to apply KVL? Take the circuit. Okay. Take the circuit. See, you are finding VG. VG is the gate voltage. At the gate, you are having VGS as well as at the source, you are having minus VSS. So you need to add these two voltages to get the total voltage gate. To get the total voltage at the gate. Voltage at the gate means it is the voltage with respect to ground. Understood? What is VG? VG is nothing but the voltage at the gate with respect to ground. It is not with respect to any other reference terminal. It is with respect to ground only. So to get the total voltage at the gate with respect to ground, what you have to do is you need to add this voltage plus this voltage. So when you add these two, you will get the entire voltage VG. So VG is equal to VGS plus minus VSS. Be careful, it is minus VSS. Okay. At the source, you are having negative voltage. So VGS is equal to VG minus VSS. That is equation number 3. So to find VG, what you have to do? To find VG, what you have to do? You have to add VGS along with VSS. Okay. So this can be found out only if you know VGS. VG can be found only if you know VGS. So how we are going to find VGS? Already we have done the same method in the previous classes. I think 8 to 9 problems we have done. Okay. So same equation you will take. Why did you take this particular equation? Can anybody tell? Why did you take this particular equation? Because this is a condition for, is it triode or is it saturation? Is it is triode or is it is saturation? This equation corresponds to which region? Is it triode region or saturation region? Basically, you have two equations. And you have to take that equation with respect to the given condition. In the question, what is the condition? Have you read that question? As far as the question is concerned, the MOSFET is working in saturation. So you have taken the saturation equation and all the parameters we have substituted. Okay. All the parameters I have substituted. ID is 0.1. Drain current is, it is reference current, isn't it? ID is equal to I reference. As far as the first transistor is concerned, this is I reference. So I have put a 0.1. And this 2 I have taken to left side. Just solve this. Take the square root on both sides. Just you can solve it mathematically and you will get VGS. So this method already I taught you. 2 classes before I taught you how you can find VGS simply by mathematical techniques. So once you solve this VGS as 1.5 volt, then what you will do is put it in equation number 3. Okay, because you are interested to find VG only. Why you are interested to find VG? Because to find R, you need VG. To find the unknown resistance, you need VG. So just substitute VGS and VS, rearrange, and you will get VG, which is going to be same as VD. I repeat, why VG is equal to VD? Because the gate is shorted with the drain. The gate terminal is shorted with the drain terminal. So the potential at the gate terminal and drain terminal is going to be same. So that's nothing but negative 3.5 volt. So once you get VG, you can substitute in equation number 1 wherever you have, whatever you have done that formed that Ohm's law equation, that is R is equal to potential difference divided by current. Potential difference is 5 minus 3.5. Okay, don't neglect this negative. Gate is at negative voltage, so you have to take this negative polarity into consideration. Okay, so the equation becomes 8.5 divided by 0.1 milliamps. Milliamps, if the current is in milliampere, means what is the resistance value? It will be in kilo ohm. So 8.5 by 0.1, 85. So answer will be in kilo ohm. So if you have 85 kilo ohm resistance at the drain terminal of Q1, you will get 0.1 milliamps as a reference current. Okay, initially you have calculated I reference. It was 0.1 milliamps. By using current mirror formula, you have calculated 0.1. So to ensure this 0.1 milliampere current flow through this device, you have to take appropriate value of R. So that R value only you found out now. What is the answer? 85 kilo ohm, isn't it? So if you can connect an 85 kilo ohm resistance at the drain terminal of Q1, you will get 0.1 milliamps reference current that is flowing through. Okay, so that completes the first part of the question. Any doubts? I'll repeat the steps once again. See, in the given circuit, you have a current mirror circuit. Okay, current mirror, a perfect current mirror will always have I is equal to I reference. The output current will be equal to I reference provided the aspect ratio of the two devices are same. But you have to go to the question and find whether the two aspect ratios are same. Here, as far as the given parameters are concerned, the two aspect ratios are not same. Okay, because you have a difference in channel width. Even though you are having same channel length, but there is some sort of difference in channel width. So there is a difference in aspect ratios. As a result, I reference is not going to be same as I. That is the first thing what you have to find out from the given parameters. Now you are going to find R. What is the speciality of R? R, you need to design to have an appropriate IRF. And this IRF is going to determine I. Here, by fixing an appropriate value of resistance R, the designer will ensure a proper current flow through Q1. So once he got a current flow IRF through Q1, he can get a proper or required current I through Q2 because IRF is going to determine I. Please take this point. If Q1 and Q2 are perfectly matched or identical in terms of aspect ratio, then only IRF is becoming equal to I. Otherwise, there exists a clear difference between IRF and I. So the designer, what he has to do is he have to find R. He has to find R in terms of IRF. So R is nothing but potential difference divided by current. Potential difference is VDD minus VD. How did you got this difference? How did you got this difference? See, when you take R,
Potential difference.
yeah, when you take R, at one end you have VDD, at the other end you have VD. So VDD minus VD by current, that is IRF. And it is given, VDD is given, but you don't have VD. You don't have VD in your circuit diagram, but you can find VD will be equal to VG. Why? Because you have a perfect short circuit between the drain and gate. So you have replaced VD with respect to VG. Now you will have to find IRF. So by using this current mirror equation, you will find IRF because I is given. I is given. So IRF you found out. Now once you found out IRF, you can substitute and find VG. I mean find no, you cannot find R unless you find VG. So first you have to find VG. So this is a KVL equation to find VG. As far as this equation is concerned, you can find VG only if you find VGS. Okay, you can find VG only if you find VGS, and VGS you can find by using this equation. So all these equations you need to be thorough with that. Okay, this equation is with respect to the saturation equation. So after finding VGS, so this is a procedure to find VGS. So once you have VGS, you can find VG. So once you find VG, that is going to be equal to VD. Now you can put in the R equation and find R. So this is the first part. Now, in the second part of the question, you need to find the minimum allowable drain voltage of Q2 or the lowest possible drain voltage. And what happens if the drain voltage goes beyond that particular level? Or below that particular level? It will not be in saturation. It will no longer, it will remain in saturation. And what happens if it is not maintain its saturation region? Linear amplification will not take place. So we have to ensure at least a minimum voltage available at the drain terminal of Q2. Okay, so that is what is being done in this particular section. So this is a condition for saturation region. We have studied in the characteristic curve, VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. So from this, it is obvious that the minimum condition you need to ensure is VDS at least equal to VGS minus VT. The favorable condition is greater than or equal to. The desirable condition is greater than or equal to. But the minimum condition is equal to only. So VDS is equal to VGS minus VT is the minimum allowable voltage at the drain terminal of Q2, so that the Q2 will remain in saturation region for long till the power supply is available with the circuit. Okay. Now what you will do is, potential difference is nothing but the difference between the potential at two terminals. So as far as this VDS is concerned, it is nothing but VD minus VS. So in the left side, you have replaced this VDS as VD minus VS. In the right side, you have replaced this VGS as VG minus VS minus VT. Now you can see VS as common from both the sides. You can cancel from each, from LHS and RHS. Substitute VG and VT. VG you have already found out in the previous section, that is minus 3.5. Threshold voltage is given like 1 volt. So the answer will be negative for 4.5. So at least you should maintain negative for 4.5. If it is minus 4.5, that is less than minus 4.5, it will not remain in saturation. So this is a minimum voltage you have to maintain at the drain terminal of the Q2, so that Q2 will remain in saturation, so that the linear amplification will take place and the biasing method will be perfect for the given amplifier circuit. Any doubt with the second portion of this particular problem? So this is going to be very important. So as of now, we have found out R value, and the minimum drain voltage allowed at Q2. And in the question also they have asked for the gate voltage also, and that also you found out. Gate voltage is nothing but VG. Need not find this gate voltage separately for Q1 and Q2. Why? Because the gate voltage of Q1 is same as that of the gate voltage of Q2, because you have a short circuit between gate and source. Isn't it? The gate source circuitry of Q1 is shorted with gate source circuitry of Q2. So potential difference is going to be same. If there is parallel network, means potential difference is same. So you are not going to find the gate voltage for Q1 and Q2 separately, it is same. So that is what has been shown here. Negative 3.5 is the gate voltage of Q1 and Q2. So this is one answer. R is the second answer. And VDS, that is negative 4.5, that is the minimum voltage allowed at the drain of Q2, that is the third answer. Understood? So till now, we have discussed the 4 different biasing techniques of MOSFET amplifier, out of which the fourth one is very efficient. Why? Because here we can expect a stable Q point, irrespective of any variation in the external parameters or load parameters. Even if the source is changing, even if the load is changing, still you can have a constant current flow through the device, so that your Q point will be stable in the required position or in the desired region of the characteristic curve. Okay. You may experience a Q point shift whenever there is some sort of supply variations or load variations or some temperature variations like that. For that only you are going to design some efficient biasing techniques to maintain the Q point stable, or it should confine in the desired region of operation so as to get the faithful amplification. Okay, what will happen if there is no faithful amplification or linear amplification? As I said in the last class, some portion of output will get clipped off, isn't it? So you should maintain the Q point in the desirable region so that it will reproduce the same waveform at the output. Okay. Of course, there will be change in the amplitude, but it will change the frequency should maintain. At the same time, there should not be any clipping off at the positive level or the negative level of the output waveform. So you have to ensure that your Q point should be in the feasible region. Okay, so for that only these biasing techniques have been adopted. As far as the first biasing technique is concerned, what is the disadvantage? Anybody? The first biasing technique we have gone through the last class. What was that? It was by using BG, fixing by using BG, isn't it? What was the disadvantage of that circuit? Anybody? What was the disadvantage of that circuit? Fixing the biasing using BG. What was the disadvantage of that circuit? This one. What is the disadvantage? I told you practically this will not be using. Has got its own disadvantage. You can see there is no source resistance here. Only you have a potential divider network RG1, RG2 and a drain resistance. You're not having any source resistance. So what is this drawback of this particular circuit? Anybody? If you have attended the previous class, you should tell. What is that? Try to read and tell them. You have to respond. Tell. What was the disadvantage? Unmute yourself and speak out. Sai Sandeep. Pavan, what is the disadvantage of the first circuit, first biasing technique? I'm not going to proceed unless you talk. At least read the sentence now. Read the sentence and find the answer. Read.
ID varies with large value, sir.
Yeah, it will vary with respect to temperature. ID will get vary. So you are supposed to fix this ID. Even though some external changes happens, ID should not change. If ID changes means the coordinate value gets changed. The Q point, assume that Q point is a point in two-dimensional graph, you have a point. That you have an X coordinate, you have a Y coordinate. If anything changes means what happens? Q point will shift towards a triode region, which is not at all acceptable for our region of operation. Okay. So if temperature varies means still you need to fix this ID. It should not go beyond a permissible value. So for that only we have gone for the fourth biasing technique by using mirror circuit or constant current source circuit. I think you got the concept now. Now I will move to the last topic of this particular module. That is how the amplification is being done by using MOSFET device. So basically you are having two applications for MOSFET. That is either it will be using for the amplification or it will be using for the switch. So let me know what is amplifier. What is amplifier? What is amplifier? If you have a weak signal with you, you need to strengthen that signal, isn't it? Suppose I'm addressing a very large gallery and I'm having some sort of very feasible, very low strengthened signal. Okay, my signal is very weak. Okay, so what I have to do is I need to amplify my signal. So speech, it should be first converted to electrical signal by using microphone, and later it will get amplified and produced through the loudspeaker, which is nothing but a load for an amplifier. So loudspeaker is acting as a load, in fact, with respect to the amplifier. So you need to impart some gain, isn't it? You need to give some gain to this weak signal. So if gain is a particular, for example, if input is 5 volt, 5 volt peak to peak, I have converted my speech signal and I have converted into electrical signal. Maybe it is a 5 volt peak to peak. Okay, and my gain is 5. The gain of the amplifier is 5, means I will be expecting a 25 volt output at the load, means 5 into 5. So output is nothing but gain into input. Okay. So the designer can design any amplifier with permissible gain. Okay. So by taking appropriate specifications or by taking appropriate resistance value and capacitance value as well as a device specification, the designer can design an amplifier with a convenient gain and he will get an appropriate or the desired signal at the output which will be of sufficient strength. But the care should be taken with respect to biasing circuit. Always if you take any amplifier circuit, you will have some biasing circuits as well. Okay, so biasing should be in such a way that it should operate in the saturation region and later the output should be an exact replica of the input. Or only exception is there will be some change in amplitude, increase in amplitude. So you should have a faithful reproduction of the signal, whatever you are giving at the gate terminal of the one, 2 hours. Okay, fine. So you're having, so there should not be any change in the Q point or shift in the Q point. You should maintain in the saturation region itself. Okay, so only the faithful amplification will take place as far as this MOSFET device is concerned. You are having only the triode region and saturation region. So the Q point should intercept with the saturation region only. So this is a basic MOSFET device that is operating in common source configuration. The circuit, as you can see, this is common source configuration where the source is common to both the input and output circuit. Here Vi is the input signal which is to be amplified. This is your input signal Vi, and you are having a gate to source voltage VGS. This is not a complicated circuit. It is a very simple circuit. You don't have any biasing circuit. As such, I have taken the MOSFET and aligned in common.
So your voice is breaking.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, after this session, I will connect with my hotspot and let's see. Okay. Now I will continue. Now, how is it? Is it audible? Still breaking?
Yes, sir. Right.
I think only 2 minutes. Let me continue with this. Anyway, I will be uploading all the recorded videos in your Google Drive. Okay. I think 6 classes I have covered till now. So all those 6 classes records I will be uploading in the Google Drive. Later you can check. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah. So here, as you can see, this is a simple circuit where I have not shown any biasing circuit. So you can see that this input signal it's directly coming across a gate source circuitry. Okay, it's directly coming across a gate source of this device. So you can see VGS is equal to VI. You can write VGS is equal to VI. Why? Because this VI is coming directly across the gate source terminal of the MOSFET. In between, you are not having any sort of resistance or capacitance in between. So this is a parallel network. So directly the signal which is to be amplified, it is coming across the gate and source of MOSFET. So as of now, we can write VGS is equal to VI, which is nothing but the signal to be amplified. And you are taking the amplified output across a drain. So taking an output terminal across a drain means the reference should be at the source. Being this is a common source configuration, you are taking the output across a drain, so the reference should be at the source. So this is your output voltage and this will be your input voltage. Clear? Vi is the input voltage to be amplified and V0 is the output voltage, which is an amplified version of the input Vi. Hope it is clear. Now what I'll do is, I will write an equation for output by simply applying KVL to the output circuit. Kirchhoff's voltage law. What is Kirchhoff's voltage law? The algebraic sum of voltage across a closed network is 0. I repeat, the algebraic sum of the voltage across a closed network should be 0. So I assume that the circuit is closed. Here you have the output circuit. Here you have the supply voltage VDD. So from this, some current is flowing through RD through the MOSFET towards the ground. So it is completing. No, the circuit is completing. Okay, I repeat. You have a high voltage VDD. So from that, the current, drain current I is flowing through RD through the MOSFET till the ground. So this is a closed circuit. So whenever a current is flowing through RD, you are having a potential drop. Okay, current will be always flowing from high voltage to low voltage. I think within a minute this is going to be end. So you can restart this. You can reconnect using the same link. Okay, don't go for any other link. You can reconnect with the same link as well.